Hey YouTube. It's been almost 5 years since I did a video last. Um, I was a lot better off then. I apologize for my son's cat in the background. The cat's got real high anxiety, so every time my son leaves to go potty, he owls. I started this page as a videos to look back on for my kids. My oldest son just turned 22 and he's autistic, and then my younger boy is 21. So, and he doesn't live here, unfortunately, due to his choice and disagreements with his daddy and I haven't seen him since he's 18. So I miss him like crazy, but he's an adult and has to make those choices for him. So I decided to come on here tonight. I volunteer, my husband and I do, at a local place we have for a few years now. I enjoy it because it's kind of like an out or an avenue for me to escape my horrible reality of how sick I am. With the 5 autoimmune diseases that I talked about before, they have gotten worse. Other things have happened, and I made a personal choice to stop taking most of the medication that they were giving me. I was on 20 different medications a day, multiple times a day, and they were all different kinds. Hence my last video, why I seemed fairly out of it, and that was because I was listening to doctors that just wanted to push a lot of medication on something that you don't understand. And I've had a lot of folks in my volunteer job come to me knowing what I have. And as again tonight, I had a lady come to me in tears because I understood how she felt. She had similar autoimmune diseases as I did, and a lot of side effects from a lot of things, and I understood her. And when you're a sick person and nobody can relate, and you find somebody that can, it's a huge deal. It really is. And so I wanted to get on here, even if I don't have anybody that cares to really listen to this, that you're not alone if you have these problems. Being ill puts you in a different perspective about life. It just does. You have to navigate so many more things to live a minuscule of amount of a healthy person does. And sometimes we don't get the choice of getting better or of having certain buffers. It is what it is. And I have found that, I have been a diabetic for 21 years. They figure I've had lupus longer than that. I have sarcoidosis in my lungs, which is their granulomas all over my lungs. I got psoriasis on my skin. I got rheumatoid arthritis in almost all of my bones. I got degenerate joint disease not only in the bottom of my back, I've got it in the middle of my back. I got scoliosis on the top of my back, and I have bone spurs. My spine, due to that, is collapsing, so they put me on a medication that I finally had to breakdown intake that I hate taking. I hate relying on a med because of the way our healthcare system works, that when I finally find something that remotely buffers my pain or my symptoms or whatever, because I'm on state medical, they take it away. And then my body goes into all kinds of shock because it's just gone, because they won't pay for it, and I'm not allowed to pay for it because in my state it is illegal if you're on Medicaid to pay for your own meds. So yeah, that's a real kick in the nuts. So I'm on buprenorphine patches, and it just buffers my back just enough so I can somewhat function. Not function like a normal person, but just somewhat function, you know. And I just didn't, I wanted to finish describing all this now with a slightly clearer head, different, but a slightly clearer head, because I want people that are in my situation to know they're not alone. And I am always open to discuss any of this, or just life in general. See, because I'm a sick person and I see the world differently, you know, I value things, and my husband does differently because he's ill as well, just in a different way, more of a mental situation than I, but still he has physical problems too. And you appreciate things differently. You know, I watch this world is so broken. It is so broken. And the world itself, the people in this world, especially in the United States right now, is so grieving for hope. And it breaks my heart because I feel all of it. Sorry. Since I was a little girl, I've been, whoever believes it or not, there's going to be a lot of people that think I'm crazy, I'm sure. I don't care. You know, I'm not one of those people that care about that. But I feel people's emotions. I've been very empathic most of my life. And walking in a room and feeling people's hurt on top of your own that you put aside, it's hard to swallow. And so when I tell people that value monetary things, you know, just objects, it disturbs me on such a level, because when you're in a situation like me, the most valuable thing a person can have is their time. It is so fleeting. Most people don't live to an extended amount, and they work so hard for so many trinkets, and they always think, I have tomorrow. I gotta do this today because I have tomorrow. And tomorrow is not promised to anybody. It's not. You know, today, I tell everybody, today's the gift. Do and say what you need to today, because so many things can happen tomorrow. And time is always fleeting. It's always fleeting. You know, the older that you get, the more valuable your time becomes. And it's, because you have less of it. And for somebody to take their time to give to somebody else, that is so important. It's so valuable, because that is something that they can never get back. They gave you a part of their life that they will never get back, and they chose to give that to you. And so many people take that for granted. You can't take all the expensive things and what everybody else has with you to the grave. You're still gonna die. They're not gonna bury you with those things. They're just things. I don't know how many times, so my husband and I go yard selling sometimes, just it's kind of like a daytime, date night, all day thing, And I don't know how many times we walk into a home with somebody's loved ones have passed. And then sometimes they're not old people or older, they're young people that have just lost their loved one from different things. And the story that it tells in these people's home, you walk in and it's so sad, because there's pictures, so many memories of pictures, and this was somebody's life, this was their story, and it's gone. The only people that remember are the people that are still there. I tell folks that your children are your living memory. Good or bad, they are your living memory. And once that's gone, it's gone. You cease to exist once those memories are gone. You weren't there, and all those trinkets and the fancy cars and the handbags and the expensive makeup and all that, it matters none. And this world is so broken because we have forgotten that fundamental. And I'm just tired of seeing so many people work for so little, or chasing what somebody else has, not knowing what they had to do to achieve it, what they gave up, what part of their essence that they had to trade that for what? How much of their soul did they have to sell for something they can't take with them? And I understand giving your loved ones cherished things, but time is so much more cherished. I don't know how many times that I've lost people, and the family has fought over their things, and it's just not worth it. The only thing I've ever asked of any of my loved ones was photos, mostly because of my memory. I had extreme short-term memory loss from everything now. I don't remember special events anymore. I don't remember a lot of happy things. I remember all my trauma, and I have a lot of trauma. I just deal with it different than others because I'm in pain 24/7. It never goes away. It never buffers. It's always there. My entire body is in pain in different ways. I have muscle pain, bone pain, nerve pain. I have it all in different points of my body. The latest thing, as of 2 years ago, I started going blind. My lupus and sarcoidosis is attacking my optic nerve from my brain to my eyes, and it's not curable. So in 2 years, I'm already 60% blind. My left eye doesn't work at all now. My right eye, it's like looking through a straw. And I have retinopathy too, which means the blood vessels in my eyeballs burst, and so it's like looking at an ink blot. So I have to look through that as well. And out of all the things that I deal with, because this is extremely painful, this disease that I have is extremely painful. It's so far the only one that, and the only pain that I haven't learned to overcome. As I tell my husband, I could deal with the dark. I could deal with the dark. But the pain that ensues is astronomical. Like I said, I'm accustomed to pain. I've been in pain most of my life. I was a sick child before I became a sicker an adult. So this isn't something new as far as pain goes. But it's like somebody stabbing the back of your eyes, and then it puts your entire brain on fire. I have a permanent, massive Arctic migraine is the way they describe the name for it, every day, all day, and it clouds my mental capacity to the extreme. I have to muddle through all of that and everything else to be able to correspond properly to people. So when I tell folks that I understand fully, I don't judge. I'm not one to judge people very easily, and it has to be something that is extreme that I do. There's a few subjects that I don't have any tolerance for, and another time I'll get into that if people are interested in that. And it's just a personal opinion for me and what I'll accept and not. And I'm sorry for getting upset. It's Happy Valentine's Day as well. I don't normally wear it. My husband teases and my son teases war paint, is what they call it, or makeup very often. It was because it was a special day, and we volunteered today. I did for the kids. That's why I go. One of the reasons why I go in is for the little children. They bring me a lot of joy. There's a little girl that visits me quite often. Her name's Opal, excuse me. And she's only 5 years old and is just as cute as a button. Her mama's a kindergarten teacher, nicest lady ever. And she just, let me tell you guys, when your kids are grown, you miss them being little. It's another thing about that time thing, you know. I miss the laughter. God, do I miss the laughter. And just the little milestones that they have, you know, and it goes so fast. I tell folks that are young and they have young children, don't take it for granted. There will come a day you will miss it. Every real parent that loves their kids, they miss it. When they become adults, you miss it. You miss the noise in the house. And everybody's always so, and I understand the need for your essentials, and then later getting the things, a few things that you want to make you happy. I understand that. I do. But so many people are always trying to get the next best thing, and they lose the concept of what they've really lost. You know, your kids, once they're grown, they're grown. You can't get that back either. You hope for grandchildren, and I hope for one of these days when my younger son figures things out, and if he ever has kids, I hope I can see them. I with all my heart, I hope I can see them. But I don't know that. And when you have children that are special needs, that's a whole nother obstacle. And sometimes sadness that's involved in that as well. Because I don't expect children out of my older boy. So it kind of breaks the heart in a whole different way. And I know parents with special needs kids will understand that too. I do. So I apologize for getting a little weepy today. But it's just some things that I've really needed to discuss, because I know people out there need to hear it. I really do. It's kind of like I seen a forum on Facebook, and I was off Facebook for a long time because I couldn't do the drama. But I had a personal friend that was sick, and that was the only way she could communicate. So I put it back on my new phone for that sole reason. But I'm very selective on what I do on it and what I watch. But I digress, as they say. Yeah, Leos, I was seeing a thing about Leos is what it was, and how all the Leos right now are feeling, because that's what I am, July 31st. So Leo, I'm not the normal Leo. I like shiny, like I like glitter, but I don't need nothing expensive like they describe Leos. I always need something expensive, or they like the spotlight, because that's not me. I like helping people, I always have, and I feel that's the empath in me, because I can't help myself. I want to, let me tell you, feeling other people it's, some people call it a blessing, other people call it a curse. And in my situation, I really feel that it's a curse, because it just compounds everything else. But I can't help myself, you know. But they're all feeling miserable right now. Like, even the ones that are, like, this one gentleman talked about, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't feel miserable or horrible. I just married the person that I love the most, but all I want to do is sleep and be depressed and this and that. And it's because Leos are more empathic than some of the signs, and they're feeling like I have for a very long time. They're feeling everybody else's pain. And because they don't want to admit to it, whether or not they want to believe that it's not real or it doesn't exist, or they just don't want to admit to anybody else due to the stigma that's involved with it. That's what they're feeling, and they don't understand. I've just had this for so long that I do. But yeah, whoever needs it. If you're having a bad day, if you need to tell me about your sickness, if you just need somebody to understand that it's okay to not be okay, and you have nobody else to talk to, or the people you do judge you for how you feel about anything, let's talk, let's discuss it. I'm not one to run away from things. I have prison pen pals that I talk to daily, to give them the hope that they need to become a better person, to let me tell you, to watch somebody over a length of time change their entire demeanor, like really root, full heart change their entire demeanor because you have given them the hope that they needed to be a better person, to grow from their mistakes. It gives you your own sense of purpose in a way that most people don't understand, especially when you feel people. Like, people make mistakes, and in certain situations we are all capable of things that we always say that we're not. I don't know how many people that I have heard say I would never do that, and in a certain situation you would. For instance, I won't disclose obviously their name, but there was a gentleman that I know that didn't live in the state that I'm in, a really reserved state that has a lot of laws about a lot of things that they really shouldn't. A very bad gentleman that had very long prior records of violence and was a rapist and just a whole bunch of bad things, came into a gentleman's house. It was him, his daughter, and his wife. And he was a retired veteran for a long time. Like, he served for a long time. So this gentleman broke into their house in the middle of the night. The gentleman the retired veteran had heard some noise, and he carried a weapon. He had licensed for it. He was fully legal for it, being a retired veteran. Obviously, he knew how to use it. He knew what he was doing. This gentleman that broke into their home also had a gun, and when his wife and daughter came out seeing what was going on, this intruder pulled the gun on them and was prepared to shoot. He had already done this. They didn't know that obviously that night, but this gentleman had already done home invasions and killed several people and raped several women, and in the process before he got to this gentleman's house. So this guy knew exactly what his intentions were, going and being the intruder he was. So my friend that is currently in prison, and yes, I call him my friend even if I haven't yet met him in person. He's, like I said, one of several that I talk to. I've been talking to him for 2 years now, and I know his entire case. Every single one that I talk to, I know their entire case. He shot and killed this gentleman that intruded in his home, that had a weapon and full intention to do harm. There was no doubt about the full intention to do harm. And if this gentleman was in a different state, he probably wouldn't be in prison, or at least it wouldn't got the sentence that he got. Because he fully saved his family that night. There is no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. He fully saved his family that night. But because he was a veteran, they held, the judicial system said that he should be held to a higher standard than a normal person. And they said that he should have shoot to disarm and not to kill. And because he shot to kill, because he wasn't going to take the chance of this gentleman getting back up and shooting his family, they sentenced him to 20 years in prison for defending his family. Once he got into prison, within the first 2 years, because his sentence was so long, his wife divorced him, and he hasn't seen his daughter in 10 years. So, when I say that a lot of us would kill somebody for our family, we would be in that situation to protect our loved ones. A lot of us would. So not every person that is in there, because our judicial system is so broken, so beyond broken, not everybody in there that is done even as heinous as taking somebody's life, which that part of it he does regret as far as having to take somebody's life. However, he doesn't regret taking that person's life. And I wouldn't either. And in the state that I am in, which is the state of Washington, when you have that, which happens a lot in the city that I'm in, unfortunately, a lot of home invasions, you shoot to kill. Because unfortunately, as a lot of states have found out, if the person lives, they can sue you. The intruder can sue you. So there's that one too. But I wouldn't think a second thought about somebody came in my home with a weapon to hurt my family. And as I tell everybody, I am already sick and on a very short life expectancy. I would have no problem going to prison for the people that I love in that situation at all. And they got better medical in there than I do, being out here. And that's the truth. They really do. So, there's that situation. But once again, I have digressed. Anywho, if there's anybody out there, and I will say it again, for the folks that are hurting, for the folks that need somebody to talk to, about anything. Politics and religion might be two that we will get testy with, and that's just because I have a very one-sided certain ways of things, and I will explain them all. I don't have a problem of explaining them and why, because I have 100% life experience of why of that. I really do. And I'll break all that down and give proof, and you can go from there as far as what you want to believe or not. And I'm not going to judge you for having a difference of opinion. That's okay. But, like I said, my door is always open. I'm not like other folks that are selective or whatever. And if you don't like what I have to say or don't like the way that I look, that's okay too. Because at the end of the day, we give too much value to people that don't need it, and not enough value to people that do. My husband is the only person that, when it comes to my looks or of that matter, he's the only one that has clout for that. So, because I've had people complain, and like I said, as sick as I am, I'm just happy to be here at this point for my son and my husband. From there, it is what it is. Have a good day, folks, and once again, happy Valentine's Day.